First got involved in rugby, after we left the Gold Coast and moved to the Sunshine Coast for primary school, and man, that was in grade 1, so I've played ever since, it's a long time. The whole thing about rugby for me was the enjoyment factor, and that's why I essentially got into it, and that's why I loved it so much, because I really enjoyed myself. I was extremely lucky. I got given the opportunity to come up to the Reds and train in the academy in 2008, and Paul Carozza was the one who invited me to come. And I remember walking in, and Chris Latham was walking around Ballymore, and players with that sort of calibre were walking around, and I never really thought that it'd be me who'd make it, and I just thought I'd just give it a go and train while I did a bit of uni. So. Yeah, the first game, it was round 1 in 2010. It was up against the Waratahs, and it's a big game. Obviously the pressure was on, and mate, I didn't do too well that night actually. I got 10 minutes. We ended up losing the game, the last play of the game, but mate, I learned a lot that night. I learned what it took to play Super Rugby and what sort of level you have to be at to be competitive at that level. And I was only 20 at the time, and I knew I had a fair bit of work to do. I always think back to my family and how proud they were. My mum and dad, my 2 brothers. We're all Queenslanders. We love Queensland. We love all sports too. So, my old man used to bring me and my brothers down here to Ballymore and watch the Reds play. So, for me to get given an opportunity back in 2010, and especially against New South Wales that night, it was really special. The amount of pride I have in the jersey, whether it be Queensland or Australia. It makes it easy for me to get out of bed and put my body under the pump and through injuries and stuff. I think it's more than that. I know that sounds like an answer that most people would say, but I think a lot of mine comes down to probably mateship. The mates I've met throughout my career at the Reds, career at the Wallabies, the people I play with, and the people I play for is probably that's the driving factor for me to get out of bed every morning and do this to myself. It's bloody fun, mate. It's really good fun. It's the best job ever, and that's one thing I'll never take for granted.
This does not look good for James Slipper. I just hope we just pulled a calf or something like that, and not an Achilles.
Yeah, last year didn't go so well. Obviously, with the Achilles injury, rupturing that was. It was tough to handle at the time. It was more the unknown of how I was going to respond to it, how I was going to come back and perform. Whether I could perform at the level I wanted to. It was hard. It was probably the hardest thing I've done in my career. Due to the fact that an Achilles injury, some players don't tend to recover from it as well as others, and you don't really know how you're going to go post-surgery, so that sort of insecurity in my own head was probably the hardest thing to deal with. I've been in the 90s for a couple of years, as you said, but it's something I've never really thought about. Obviously, I would have loved to play my 100th last year against the Tars, and I had that kind of earmarked in there, but the Achilles decided to give way. But I'm just happy to be here now and still offering up.
One servant of Queensland Rugby, the 28-year-old James Slipper, has been 86 test matches for his country, and now leads out the Reds for his 100th Super Rugby game.
Yeah, it's obviously pretty special. It's something I never really set out to do, and most players would agree with me. You don't really set out to hit 100 games or big milestones. So, I guess it kind of is special when you see the other players that are in that club who have played 100 games for the Queensland team. Is the calibre of the players and what Queensland meant to them. That's what makes it special to me to be involved with. For me, playing for Queensland is everything. I support Queensland in any sport, and obviously playing for Queensland in rugby union is, it's why I wake up every morning to try and get better. That's my reason to try and improve. So I guess to be involved in such a prestigious group, that's what makes it special.